Are you ready?
Yes, I am, Mr. Peckman.
Welcome to the Mr. Peckman podcast. Hey, I finally made it. John Peckman, Mr. John Peckman podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland. Come over the bridge, go through one set of lights, start looking left. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I want to see what happens if I get 1 million subscribers. What does happen? We don't know. We're here today. Local. Well, more than local. I should amend that. Take two. Guitar legend, Jimi Bell, the one and only. Here he is.
Sir Peckman.
Wow.
How
Sir.
are you? Sir. I've upgraded you from Mr. to Sir.
Dude, it's already happening.
Yeah, it's already good.
What's
it's going to be all over Facebook.
I can't imagine.
How are you, my friend?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know if I could remember the last time.
We jammed together last time.
I bet.
Yeah, it was, we had a blast. I think we had a pedal steel player playing with us too. Richard
Whoa.
Mars, I think his name was.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
That's crazy. I'm sorry to say that I don't, but that has nothing to do with you. I'm sure it was great.
Well, it was the 80s. Or maybe early 90s.
Oh,
That's fine.
Man. God only knows. Wow.
We've had an interesting life.
Yes. And it ain't over yet.
No, it's not.
So nothing's going to be more interesting than this right here.
That's
now.
right. I want everybody to tune in right now.
All that other stuff's going to seem pointless. So been a legend around here as long as I know, as long as I've been aware of guitar.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it's true. You've been the dude. Tell us what you're doing now of note, and then we'll work backwards.
Sure.
Just in case.
Well, as of 2019, I became the guitarist for a band that was pretty big in the 80s, early 80s, very early, called Autograph. They had they were kind of known as a one-hit wonder band, but they had that, their big song, Turn Up the Radio.
Drums are loud in that song.
Yeah.
That's why I like that song.
Yeah, Keeney was a great drummer.
Cool.
But it's been a lot of fun. When I joined the band, though, right away I did tell them that I wanted to write new music with them because I write.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I've written, since I've, when we go backwards, I'll tell you. But with House of Lords, I've written, on the last 9 records and stuff. I write music only, not lyrics or melody lines. So I'll write a whole song and give it to the vocalist, and then he, does the melody lines and the lyrics.
And all the songs are about how you hate singers, and then you make them sing it.
But yeah, so I've been doing that, touring around. What I liked about, I love the guys on Autograph. They were wonderful people.
They're still busy. They're still doing.
Yeah,
stuff.
we're still busy. We just lost Randy. Randy ran our he was the last original member. There are 2 others alive, but the reason I'm playing guitar is because the other guy quit.
Oh boy!
And the original singer declined on wanting to do the reunion back in 2013. He didn't want anything. He's been completely out of it for a while. He makes a lot of money doing jingles and stuff.
Oh hey!
So he doesn't need the nightmare of going out and touring.
Yeah, right.
And everything else. But
write a jingle.
Well, the jingles seem to do really well. You make a lot of money with jingles, I guess. So I'm thinking about doing that myself. I'm going to call them Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
Hey, now, did you get that?
No, boom. I got it somewhere. Next time, imagine a boom.
Yeah, but
that's awesome.
But so yeah, I've been doing that, and I like the fact that they did a lot of U.S. Dates. So we fly out. And play, some really good sized festivals all the time with a lot of other bands.
Where are they based out of?
Well, we're all over the place. I'm in Connecticut. Randy, who passed away, was in Georgia. Simon and Mark. Simon Daniels, the singer, and Mark Whelan's the drummer. They're both in L.A.
Okay.
And now we're using Steve Unger, a bass player that's been with Metal Church, the band Metal Church, for the last 17 years.
Whoa.
So he's playing the bass with us since Randy passed, and
wow,
yeah, it's a lot of fun. We get to go out and do a bunch of stuff.
Would I be wrong in thinking that the autograph? Although, like you say, I only know the one song, but yeah, that's pretty metal for. Am I missing? Am I thinking of Autograph wrongly? Are they?
Yeah, no, they weren't that much. They were more of a like a rock pop band
Yeah.
more of anything.
Yeah.
Not they weren't considered a metal. It was very, like I said, very early 80s stuff.
You're making them more metal.
Well, you know, when the band reformed before I joined, they got back together in 2013. They had 3 of the original guys still, and they came out. They didn't want to use the keyboards anymore. They wanted to be more of a guitar band. So Simon plays guitar, and you know, so they had 2 guitar players and stuff. So it was just natural for me to step into that situation and to be able to write songs in that situation.
How'd they find you? How'd you find them?
Well, I was originally. I had met them way back in the 80s, the original lineup at NAMM.
Okay.
And then they were doing a show here in Massachusetts, and the band that I was with, Max Explosion, was opening up for them, which is 2 members that were in House of Lords, but now are the members of Dokken. They're the section of Dokken. So we opened up for them, and I had known Steve, the guitarist, for a little bit, so I kind of reconnected with him. And that's how I met the rest of the guys. And then from that point on, once I saw that he had made his announcement that he was quitting the band to try something new, that I called Randy, the bass player, and I said, cool. Hey, man, I'd like an opportunity for this. Because, you know, with House of Lords, I always toured Europe.
Oh, okay.
So that was, House of Lords didn't do much of U.S. Dates.
I see.
Yeah, so every time I went to Europe, I was over there for a while.
Yeah, right.
Which is not a bad thing. I've seen all of Europe and Japan, and so it's cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So Autograph, how'd you get involved in House of Lords? What's that all about?
Well, House of Lords, now that was a band that was formed by Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
He had signed them to his record label when he had his own record label, Simmons Records, that RCA was distributing. Yep. And the singer, James Christian, was from a local band here in Connecticut called Eyes. They were from New Haven.
Okay. Yep.
And so he went out as Eyes was, desperately trying to do something. He had went out to California, and that's when Gene discovered him.
Wow.
And they put that band together. And it went really well. You know, they came in at the late part of the 80s. So, you know, here's the thing with House of Lords. They came in very late. They had a couple really big videos on MTV that really had hit. But then all of a sudden they came in so late that all of a sudden that Seattle thing with Nirvana and everything had come in the 90s and then crushed all that music.
Sure.
You had to be in it and big in it in order to survive, like Motley Crue, Poison.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught.
If you were one of those bands that was kind of there but wasn't really there, then you got squashed with all the rest of them.
Yep, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's
very difficult.
My last original band that happened. We were just like starting to hit it, and then the biz kind of fell apart as far as not selling CDs, like right at that. And that was, so I know the feeling. It's all in timing.
Yeah, it is. A lot has to do with timing, very much so.
That's what they say.
Yeah. Like you contacting me out of the clear blue.
Yeah, well, Lancia.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there.
Yeah, Chris.
I hope you're listening.
Yeah, I know him for a long time.
Yeah. Well, you've always been on the list. I just didn't know how to get direct. Well, I could have. I just was like, all right, he's someone.
But where on the list was I? That's kind of important for me to continue.
The original. You were on the first when
I was on the first list.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but where on the list?
That I don't know.
We'll have to
the list went through it went through the wash.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't read it.
Okay. I just want to make sure it was.
But yeah. No. When I made the big master list, you were on it.
Good.
Sure.
Good.
I couldn't. Things happen, and then Lancia is like, yo, and I'm like, boom, there it is. Finally. Good,
yeah.
Good, we get it done.
I'm glad that he contacted me because as soon as he said your name, I go, yeah, John. The drummer he was saying he used to be with 8 to the Bar. I go,
I knew
Peckman?
him before that. Yeah.
It's like, you know him? I go, of course I know him. I go, we used to play together.
Yeah, we got a left-handed cabal.
Yeah.
Lefty.
Lefties.
Yeah. House of Lords. Why Europe? That's where they hit.
Yeah, well, there's first off, our record label is from Italy, Frontier Records.
Okay.
They sign all those bands from that genre.
Okay.
But
they know what to do with it.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, over in Europe, it's a whole different vibe than over here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of those bands from the 80s all went over to Europe to continue working because the European audience welcomes that 80s music no matter when it is. I've played for some, there's amazing audiences over in Europe.
Yeah, that's cool.
And what I noticed about the Europe fans is that the same people that would come see House of Lords is considered a melodic rock band. In other words, we have ballads, we have
Okay.
it's very good, singing with harmonies and keyboards, the whole works. Still rock, but they call it melodic rock. But what I notice is that the same people that will come and see House of Lords will also go see one of those death metal bands.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. It's just about the music.
Yeah.
So they don't.
If it's good, they like it.
Yeah, they don't go, well, I don't like that. That happens more in the U.S. Like if you're not into a certain type of music, then this other type. I would never go to that type of show. It's like
it's
you have your people that love Slayer, or you have your people that love Poison. And
right.
It's one of those type of things here.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
If it's good, they like it.
Yeah, I mean, going with that band. Honestly, I've gotten to go over to Europe so many times, and I've played all over Europe many times. And even getting to play one of the biggest festivals in Tokyo, Japan, called Loud Park in 2015, we played that, and that was just a really interesting thing. We get on this festival, and it's actually most of the bands on that festival were like what I'm talking about: Slayer, Anthrax, all these guys. But they also had another stage in the building. They had it in two rooms. They had the one theater, and then the other one in the other room where we were. But I mean, they were all massive. They had a couple bands on the same stage of our genre of music. So we got put on at like 1:30 in the afternoon, and we couldn't see out there. They run everything like to the second.
Yeah.
You can't even walk on a stage. You can't look out, see what's going on.
Wow.
I was saying, we were on tour already in Europe, and we had just left. We had just got done playing Madrid. We were in Spain, so we actually flew from Madrid to Tokyo. And I'm saying, who the heck is going to be on? Out in the audience at 1 p.m. This is good.
Yeah, and you had no idea.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I said, why? We flew all this way for this. So the next thing you know, I walk out on stage, and there was 25,000 people standing in front of me at 1 p.m. And I'm going like, I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy.
That's killer.
Yeah, it was great.
And you're just like, here we go.
Yeah, it's a great experience, and you have the big, you see yourself on the big screens.
Sure.
It's just a great experience.
I mean, it's nothing like this experience.
This is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. I'm very impressed with this setup. I got to tell you.
Oh, the setup's great.
I wasn't expecting this.
And you never know. We might even have dozens of people that may see this.
Yeah, it would be great. I would love that.
Yeah. Killer. Favorite place in Europe that we would not know about that you've enjoyed? I've never been to Europe at all.
Oh, you haven't? No. Well, as I said, that was a great. That was my as far as.
What was your first time?
What's that?
What was your first time? Like, when did you first go to play a show? What was that like? Who was it with?
With House of Lords, but I had been to England when I was playing with when I got called over to play with Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath. When I did that was my first trip to Europe. Flying into London.
All right, you know what? Let's start. Okay, now we're getting a picture. Now we're getting it together. You grew up where?
In Wethersfield, Connecticut.
Wow, hey,
right here,
just over there.
Yeah,
that's cool. How'd you get started in music?
Well,
guitar.
Well, music was you'll I don't even know if you know, but my parents, they would put me to sleep listening to records and stuff when I was a kid. But I grew up listening to big band music.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like the Glenn Miller Orchestra, Benny Goodman.
Why not?
And of course, I had fallen in love with drums.
Sure.
So I was a big fan of Gene Krupa.
Yeah.
So I actually got to meet Gene Krupa
Whoa.
before he passed away. I have a photo in my phone. I'll
that's
show you
heavy.
of me and Gene Krupa.
When did he die? I'm sorry. I don't
In
know.
the early 70s.
Oh, wow.
So I met him. I met him like 2 years before he died.
Wow.
And
That's kind of cool.
yeah, he was playing in Meriden.
Wow.
He was playing with a Dixieland quartet.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Where?
at a Holiday Inn.
Wow.
So I mean,
Yikes.
so to see him playing in that type of environment, just
Was he great?
he was still great,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
that
yeah.
old. He was
Sure,
just
sure.
all his antics,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. That's
That must have been a thrill.
oh, it was. I mean, because that's one of the big things about Gene as a drummer. When he first got going was his flashiness and everything else. So that was just to actually see him going and doing that stuff at his age though was fantastic.
Crazy.
But so I was jamming with some guys. I was in junior high. I played drums from 10 to 13. I had won I won a scholarship from the Hartford Conservatory of Music for rudiments.
Hey, did not know that. Oh, that's killer.
You did? You taught there? Yeah, Don Minutelo was my. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
See, Dave
Donnie.
knows everybody.
Yeah, so I had a scholarship.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, so I was
Play a Radamacu. You remember?
no, but I do remember a paradiddle.
Yeah,
kinda.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely. Yeah.
And what was it? Flam tap?
Yeah,
Flam?
flam triplet. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's been
Killer.
ages.
Killer.
But so I had a drum set.
Yeah.
And I was, and of course, the people would come over to my house and jam. So I was jamming with some high school cats, and they left. They had one day the guitar player left his guitar just leaning against the amplifier. He didn't bother putting it in the case, so he left it just leaning there because they were coming back next day. So after he left, I picked it up, and he had this old 70s Big Muff fuzz box.
Yeah.
When they were, right as they came out, and they sounded like violins. They were incredible. So I had turned on his amp. I took that guitar and turned on the fuzz box. Even though it was a right-handed guitar, I held it left-handed, and I hit the low E string upside down with the fuzz box on, and I just fell in love with the guitar instantly. I mean, like something came over me right then and there. I instantly had to start playing guitar, and I dropped my drum scholarship.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You didn't even follow up on it?
No, I just I had done it for a little bit, but the guitar.
Did your parents freak out?
No, because I was. They saw how much I loved the guitar. Like, I got to the point when I first started playing guitar that it was more of like an obsession. In other words, like I didn't go out and play with any friends.
Yep.
I would come home after school, do nothing but play guitar until I went to bed. I would play guitar all weekend, not go out. It was.
Me too.
Yeah. It's like when you find something that takes you over that you absolutely love. It's like.
Yep.
Your parents don't have to ever come in and say,
no.
Did you practice a half hour?
No. My parents used to have a curfew that especially in the summer, you can't play before 10 a.m. You can't play after 8, because of the neighbors or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And I would be like, I would wake up and just wait until 10 so I could hit it.
Yeah.
So I know the feeling.
Yeah.
They would flash the lights to tell me to stop because I just was like,
isn't that crazy that,
no friends, no girls, no sports, none of that.
If we had what back then, like the Roland V drum kits and all that stuff, you would have that as a something you could play softly until you get on the real kit.
Yeah, I would have been I would have spent more time. Yeah, that's crazy.
But so that's how the whole guitar thing started.
Did you play lefty upside down, or you flipped it?
I flipped the strings.
Okay,
I'll take it. When I first got the guitar, everything was upside down,
Sure.
but I did know that I had to reverse the string. I all through my school years, prior to playing drums, I played stand-up orchestra, stand-up bass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I played that in the orchestra, and I never really got the hang of the bass. I never got that good on it because I didn't make the connection that I would hold the guitar right-handed, But when I played the bass, I was playing it right-handed because, you know,
Gotcha.
I was standing up playing. So this hand was
Didn't
always a
feel
little
right.
awkward, you know?
Yeah.
So it didn't click that, hey, you know, you play the guitar with this hand. Maybe you should play the bass with this hand. But,
Yeah.
you know, who knew about reversing? I would
Right.
have never thought to reverse the strings on a stand-up bass. You know,
Yeah,
I was,
no, of course
you know,
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah, so I play drums all wrong. Like I'm left-handed, play wrong. Play on a righty kit, open lefty, left-handed, right-footed, all wrong. Because I didn't know you could just flip the kit.
Oh, is that how you play?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Oh, because that's funny because I started off drums. I had it set up right-handed. So I was playing,
Yeah.
you know, I was playing, like this.
Yeah. That's
The hi-hat here and then, and it was going around. But then someone said, well, you're left-handed. You should set the kit up around the other way. So then it made sense to set it up so I could go, you know, Hawaii 5-0, and then have the ride cymbal right there.
Yeah.
But
I never got that far.
but then just seeing, you know, I used to see these drummers play, and they'd be crossing their hand playing the hi-hat like this. I go, what the heck am I doing wrong here? I go, why is this not working like this?
Yeah.
But the one disadvantage, I don't know if you were able to, I was never able to do conventional grip.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I could do it like this, as if I was a right-handed drummer. I could hold the stick a little bit. But for me to hold the stick like that and it doesn't work for some reason. So I had to always play match grip.
Play guitar.
Yeah.
Solution.
Yeah, just get rid of the drums and play guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killer. So you flip the strings, off you go.
Yeah, flip the strings, and then so I practiced so much that I was playing out. This is pretty funny. I was actually started playing out at around 15 years old.
Wow.
So I started guitar very early 14.
Okay.
I progressed really fast on it, and my first show was my first gigs were on Park Street while I was in junior high, and it was just funny that the club happened to be a how can I say it, a strip club.
A strip, yeah, you could say that.
It was a strip club during the day, and then they had bands at night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like a weird experience. Like at my age, that young of an age, I had to get a
Show
note
up to the gig early.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. See, I had to get a note from my parents saying that it was okay for me to play, but they had no idea it was a strip club.
Oh, wow.
During the day. So they were getting a note for me to say that it was okay for me to play in a place that served alcohol.
Sure.
So basically, you know, I showed up and, you know, I'm just like, you know, I'm a young kid at that age. I'm looking up on stage. I'm going,
whoa. And of course, you're like me, having no girls yet.
Yeah. No, it was just like, this was, I was extremely unpopular in high school. I had people that friendly, but I wasn't, you know, you had the guys that were who we called the jocks, you know, the sport guy.
Yep.
They had they had a lot of friends, and the ones that were considered the freaks had their certain group, you know, where they'd hang out. But I was just one of those guys in the middle. I didn't know what I was doing, and so I didn't have a lot of friends in school. And it was just funny that once I started playing music and playing out, all changed.
Yeah, now they want to be your friend.
Yeah. It was like all of a sudden, like when they found out I could play guitar and stuff, all of a sudden a lot of these people started becoming friends of mine throughout the school. And it was
just because they want to come to the strip joint.
Yeah, they wanted to come to the strip club and see me play. It had nothing to do with me.
Well,
hey, Jimmy, can you get me in?
Yeah. That is funny. That's kind of, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's you know, from there, you know, I always tried to do whatever I could to further my career. You know, I played nonstop in some local bands. I had an opportunity to go up to Claremont, New Hampshire. I took any chance I could.
Sure.
Somebody said that they were friends with this guy that Steven Tyler knew. Now, Steven Tyler, his family owned Tellerico Cottages in Sunapee, New Hampshire. On Lake Sunapee, they had a whole thing of cottages. So I was saying, well, this guy knows Steven Tyler, maybe, you know, this something. So I was always took a chance. I went up there, but, you know, I just played locally in this small town and then came back. And
Steven Tyler didn't discover you.
No, he didn't discover me. Not then. Not then.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
No, that didn't happen. He still has it.
But I told you, it's all changes now.
Yeah, it all changes right now after the John Peckman podcast.
Yeah.
So what happened is I have an opportunity to go to Houston, Texas. And I was kind of right out of high school. And somebody that worked with Rick Derringer. And I said, I'm going to go. I'm going to go. This guy wants me to play guitar for him. So I flew down to Texas, lived there for a while, did some dates, worked our way back up here to the East Coast, and then nothing really came about that. So I was trying all this stuff. I finally landed in a road band. It was a band called The Shoppers, and what that was it was these guys out of they were based out of Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay,
basically the band was. So, but we played everywhere. We played Maine, Vermont.
And this
New
was
Hampshire.
when?
This was late 70s.
Okay.
So I'm doing that circuit, playing like 1977, 78, going all through Canada. Montreal we would play. Yeah. That was incredible.
I bet.
Upstate New York, anywhere in that vicinity. Sure. So finally, I'm playing with some of the guys that reformed, and we had an original. We were doing a lot of originals, and we were playing in Montreal, and the place was packed, and I get done playing, and there's this guy standing. He goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "What do you mean? What am I doing?" A guy's asking me, "What are you doing?" Hey, what are you doing? It's like
I'm in Montreal. I'm trying to pick up girls. What am I doing?
I'm looking at that chick over there. What am I doing? Yeah. He goes, "No, musically." He says, I have this studio here." He says, "Do you do original? You got?" And I said, "Yeah, we got a bunch of originals." So it was just funny that right then and there, after we just got done playing, he goes, "Come to the studio." So we all went. We went right to this guy's studio. It ended up that he worked with Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh, wow.
So we went and we recorded tracks all night at this studio.
Wow, just like that.
Just like that. And, he was going to get us signed to a deal. Sure. It was one of those stories. So he took it to New York, and the people that I was working with in New York, typical thing. You guys are going to be the next Led Zeppelin. This is incredible, and getting us all amped up. Sure. So I remember about I think it was about 27 times or something like that. They said the record deal was signed. Yeah, and it never was. Yeah. I ended up back in Connecticut about 1981 or 82, something like that, and that's when the first version of Join Forces was formed. That Join Forces had members of another band that was big in the area called Crier. So there was Crier, and so what they did was they took some of the members from that. They took me on and a couple other people and formed this band called Join Forces. When we first came out, we were a cover band. And we packed places. We were an instant hit. And then
who was on drums?
There was a drummer called Michael Karpiak. We used to call him Michael Vane. Okay. He was actually quite good and was around the circuit for quite a while. And then we had an opportunity when the band reformed. We said that we were going to let's just do all original music. Let's try to ditch all the cover songs. Let's come out and do an hour and a half of our own music. We'll have a couple warm-up bands. We'll try to make it like a real rock show. Yeah. A lot of the clubs were very hesitant on doing it. Yeah. Yeah, sure. That type of thing. You've done originals. It's very tough sell, but it went over huge. And the next thing you know, we're packing places all over the place, and then we get a phone call from this guy that works with Joan Jett. He worked for Blackheart Records in New York City, and he was forming his own management group off of Blackheart. And his partner owned a fleet of tour buses. That's what he did. His tour buses went out with Motley Crue, every big band that there was. So they sign us on. Next thing you know, and all we had was a 3-song cassette that we had done. Next thing you know, we're on tour with Joan Jett, doing an East Coast tour with her, going up and down. selling our 3-song cassette, play all these great shows, playing sold out the Beacon Theater in New York City.
And you're in the bus because you got the...
And we have a tour bus. Here I am, I'm not making any money. I'm making $10 a day to eat, but who cares? We were in our early 20s.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had a tour bus, and all of Joan's band and crew rode on our bus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they wanted to be with us because we were the mental cases.
Oh, I got you.
We were the party bus. That tour ends, and then all of a sudden, we get a phone call. Hey, Joan's going to be in a movie with Michael J. Fox, and they need a band.
Hey.
And they're looking at you guys, and we're going like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
So it's like this could be big. So we still had to send our photos in, but next thing you know, they accept us. And we're flying out to Chicago to be in this national motion picture with Joan Jett and Michael J. Fox.
Oh boy,
yeah. So that was.
You're like, it's happening.
Yeah, it was like, hey, this is really cool. So
Light of Day.
Yeah, it was a movie Light of Day.
Yeah.
And so we arrive, and I meet Michael J. Fox. I meet a whole bunch of other people as well, and we get. We start filming the next day. They start you at 3 a.m. They get you down to the trailer to start doing the makeup. They called us in the movie. We were a band called the Huns, and what that was supposed to be was we had this we were supposed to be kind of a Kiss type band.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
They made me even whiter than I was already, and then made us look real freaky.
Wow.
And then we filmed the scene with Joan. How it goes is Joan was in a band with her brother, Michael J. Fox. She leaves the band.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, she leaves his band to join us, and we're the crazy band. So that's what she wants. So that's the scene that was filmed. Where Michael comes into the bar and sees Joan up on stage with us.
And you guys are just freaking.
And we're playing and going back. So what we did was we recorded the song. The song was called Rabbit's Got the Gun. We did it about 8 times. They had the record plant mobile truck parked outside the club. They recorded, like I said, 8 times. They picked the one they wanted. Then they let all the extras in. So they had put a note, put something out that, hey, you want to be in a Joan Jett movie, be here at this time. So all these people showed up into this club. And then we had to play along. Now, I don't play the same in every track.
Right.
So the track is going, and I'm trying to really hard to listen to where my hands are on the neck,
and still look cool.
Yeah,
like
I had to make it, nothing worse than seeing a guitar player. You hear him playing up here, and he's playing down here at the bottom of the neck, So that was the case. So we did that.
Yeah, that's cool.
The movie came out. It was a great movie. But it was a very.
I'll be watching it tonight.
It was a tough sell because it was Michael's first serious role.
Sure.
And people didn't
think of him as a rocker.
They didn't want to look at him as a serious actor. They like him in Family Ties and Back to the Future and stuff like that. So it was, this was something different. But hey, I got to watch it in a movie theater. And when my part came on, I stood up in the theater. I'll never forget it.
Me.
Yeah, that's me. And everybody was cheering in the theater. I'll never forget it. It was so funny. Cool. So here's another typical story. I get to a certain point. And the manager, instead of running with this, here we are in a motion picture, he decides to just give up and go back to work with Joan Jett. Which was just
thanks, dude.
It was like, you have this opportunity to take this band and go with it now. And, it was, he probably just needed money or something. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason for a lot of things. So we're back to square one. We're doing some things and,
just rename yourself the Huns.
Yeah, we could. But I do have to tell you. I do want to tell you beforehand. We went to the movie premiere party in New York City.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, so they had a casting party, whatever. It was so we get out of we had a limousine. We get out of the limo. We're standing on a red carpet. There's all these people, all these photographers, and all these people on either side of the screen. Of the rope.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we're sitting there and we're just standing on the carpet and someone says, "Hey, who are you guys?" And we're all nervous. We go, we're joined forces. And then someone said, "Join forces. You guys are the Huns in the movie." And then as soon as that guy said that, millions of flashbulbs started going off. Like,
oh, they're like, those are those dudes.
yeah, yeah. And it was just like totally like something I've never seen before. I mean, it was crazy. Anyway, at the party, Carly Simon was there, Ron Wood. I met one of the funniest things was meeting Paul Schaefer. And Paul Schaefer was just exactly the way he was on
Hey,
David
how you
Letterman.
doing, kid? Yeah,
He goes, hey, babe, like that. He walked up with two girls. He had one on each arm. I'll never forget it. Hey, man, how you doing? So
swinging,
cool.
man. You guys are
swinging. It was just like that. I was laughing. So, time passes, and I'm hooked up with this guitar company. I get this biggest guitar company I get hooked up with called Kramer Guitars.
Okay.
And their big guy was Eddie Van Halen.
Sure.
The person who invented the Floyd Rose tremolo
right.
Saw me play guitar, and he came up to me afterwards and said, "You should have a Kramer endorsement." And I said, "Oh my God, I would love a Kramer endorsement. Wow. They're my favorite guitar company." So next thing I know, the president of Kramer contacts me, and he says, "I understand I owe you a Kramer endorsement." So they start managing me.
Great.
I was their only unsigned artist that they had.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, they wanted to. They believed in me. They were going to do this whole thing with me. So it was a Wednesday afternoon. I get a phone call from Kramer Guitars. They go, "Jimmy, Jakey Lee from Ozzy has left the band."
Oh boy.
And you're going. We set up an audition for you. We sent out your tape to Sharon. She wants to see you. So
great.
You need to go out to California. So I go, "Oh my God, you're kidding me. When do I go? Next week?" They go, "No, today. You have a plane ticket right now. Sure. You have to go." So wow. It was that situation. I went out and I did my audition. When I auditioned, Sharon sat there and watched me play. Ozzy wasn't there. It was just the drummer and the bass player, Randy Castile and Phil Suzanne. Then after I got done, I played really good. Sharon says, "Okay, we're going to keep you. You're going to play with Ozzy." So the very next day, I go to a whole different studio with a big stage.
Sure.
And I'm on stage with Ozzy playing like 5 songs. And so I get done with playing with Ozzy.
He must have been so confused, thought you were Tony Iommi.
Well, let me tell you. I'll get to that.
Because that, to me, I'm just like,
yeah, well, that could be a whole reason. So I'll tell you why.
Oh, okay.
So I get done playing,
yeah,
and I did really good. And Ozzy and Sharon sit down with me, and they said, "Jimmy, it's between you and Zach Wilde, who got the gig." And I was just like floored that it got down between me and him. They took me out to dinner to this very expensive restaurant where there were like all doctors and lawyers. Sure. I mean, some place where Ozzy at the time really didn't belong. But yeah, right. It was great. So I didn't hear anything afterwards for a little bit when I got home. But then all of a sudden I heard that they decided to stay with Zach. They had already kind of started working with Zach.
Got it.
But I mean, let's put it this way: there would be no reason for Sharon and Ozzy to say to me, "It's between you and Zach." They would just say, "Okay, thank you," because they did that to one other person. They wouldn't have said it's between you two. Did
you ever find out why Zach?
No, I have my own personal reasons, my own personal theories. Sure. Zach was younger.
Yep.
He looked a bit more like Randy Rhoads.
Okay.
And he played a Les Paul like Randy Rhoads.
Sure.
And then somebody mentioned to me what you just said is, "Jimmy, do you ever think that you might not have gotten a gig because you were left-handed like Tony Iommi?"
And people would be like, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah. And like him and Tony Iommi at the time, hated each other.
As you just look over and get mad.
Yeah. So that's when.
Sucks.
That was a tough one. That's I always refer to that as the Miss America pageant. One girl gets the crown, the other one gets nothing. Is the runner-up. But the thing is, a month or so later, I get a phone call from a gentleman from England, and he says, I said hello. He says, "Hey, is this Jimmy?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "This is Terrence Butler." And I'm going, "Terrence Butler." I said,
where do I know that name?
I said, I know that name. I said, "Why do I know that?" So all of a sudden, I go, "Oh my God, this is Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath. This is my favorite bass player." And then he told me he was putting together another project that wasn't quite as heavy as Black Sabbath, but he wanted to know if I'd be interested. So he flew me to St. Louis. He had a house there, family.
Sure.
I think it was his wife, Gloria's family was there. And then after that, I made my first trip overseas to London, London.
And this is how it happened.
Yeah, so this is how it all came about. We were at this very big studio rehearsing, making some videos and all this stuff. So we showcased, this is another terrible.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We showcased, we get signed. We get signed. I think it was MCA Records. I could be wrong, but
the Geezer Butler experience.
Yeah, the Geezer Butler project. We get signed. I go home.
Who's on drums?
Yeah. Who's on drums? A gentleman named Gary Ferguson, and Gary's played with so many people, but he's you could see him at the beginning of Eddie Money's video, Shakin'.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Shakin'. So that's something you could definitely recognize him in.
Okay.
Great, solid drummer. And we had Jez Woodruff, who's the keyboard player for Robert Plant. He wrote Little by Little and Big Log, and Carl Sentence was the singer, and Carl is the singer for Nazareth.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been with Nazareth for quite a while.
Wow.
So we get signed. I get home. I get a phone call from Gloria, and she says, "Jimmy, I have terrible news. The person who signed you guys to the record deal got caught doing something bad, and he got fired. All his projects got dropped. Everything. So it's like all these. So you understand what my career has been. My career has been many doors opening and shutting, kind of opening, shutting. So that would have discouraged most people, but for me, it doesn't. It didn't discourage me because I always knew that someday something would swing open wide, and so I've had some amazing opportunities, and I've done.
And then your name's out there by that point.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of other things. There's things in between, playing with the lead singer of Metal Church and doing my first another Europe tour in 1999. But there was a point that I had given up, which is when you and I had met. Okay. I didn't.
Most people, they give up.
I gave up when I meet you.
Yeah, no. I meet everyone at the worst point in their life.
No,
I have a weird thing
it wasn't.
Like that.
It wasn't that I gave up, but I changed my whole outlook. If you remember, I was really into country guitar for a while.
Yep.
So I didn't want to play rock anymore. I still love the country pickers more so than a lot of the rock players. Wow. I just love that sound, the popping and snapping a string. So I went in that direction. And that's when you and I had jammed. Yeah. But then, as you know, later on in 1999, I got an opportunity to play heavy rock again, and that's when things started up again.
Hey.
Yeah.
Like I'm back.
I'm back.
Back in black.
And I had to dye my hair black again. It was all gray.
That's all right. Hey, that's cool. So I guess it all comes back around eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
I think getting I've done so many records, especially guest appearances on a lot of people's albums, and I think getting to when I got on the House of Lords and finally got with Frontier Records, because they're the ones that signed House of Lords as well. That started a very good relationship with me with that record label. From there, I've done I've played on a lot of different things that they're involved with. And then, in fact, they're the ones that I got autographs signed to Frontiers. And I have another project coming out on Frontiers coming up pretty soon. As a matter of fact, I just filmed my video segments for it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And you're not going to tell us what it is?
I can't right yet.
Yeah.
That's got it, because I'll tell you what it is, though. Frontiers does these things called supergroups. They take musicians from all different bands. They put them together.
It's almost like they're joining forces.
Yes, exactly. It is. Exactly.
See?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Hey, man. That's killer.
You have to come on this show, the John Peckman podcast, to come up with things like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tie everything together. Hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've been talking too much. I didn't even give you a chance to ask questions.
Who cares? It's all good. No, we got it. We got this. We got the story. I remember also from, you mentioned East Coast Music Mall. I used to go there back in the day. That was a place to go to see a bunch of gear in one place.
Yeah, they were. You went down to the one at Danbury. That
Yep.
was like way before Guitar Center or anything. I mean,
that would be the place to go if you wanted to see.
I mean, they even had a stage in there that where performances were done. Like they'd have big artists come in and do clinics there, and the store was set up perfect. And it's funny. I had met one of the bosses was Larry, and I know his wife Gail still very well. Matter of fact, she's with the keyboard player for with my Deep Purple tribute band. So I still have some friends from that era.
Yeah.
I still in contact
cool.
with Larry and everything. Ed Roman, the person that had owned it, I guess he had went out to Vegas and started Roman guitars and all that and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he had.
So it was a jumping off. It wasn't like.
Yeah, well, they did. East Coast had bought a few shops around. One up here that I worked at, they became East Coast Music Mall.
Yep.
And then a couple in Boston, but then they did something. I don't know exactly what had happened, but they shut them down and took all the inventory. So something was a little strange, but those things.
You hang out with unsavory characters.
Yeah, well, they have to hang out with me first to become unsavory.
Oh, I get it. Wow.
But no, it was all great experience.
Yeah.
And I met some wonderful people along my way. I've been pretty blessed.
Yeah.
Especially even now, doing the shows I do at Autograph. I've got to hang out with some incredible rockers from the 80s.
I bet.
Some of the ones.
Who was the one that blew your mind the most that you were just like, you couldn't believe?
Well,
apart from this now here, obviously.
Other than you. Well, no, I've met so many of my. I know. I'm getting to hang out with. I really like this singer Mark Slaughter from the band Slaughter. He's just one of the sweetest guys you could ever meet in the business.
Cool.
And I had met the guys in Skid Row many years ago before even Sebastian Bach had joined the band. But I've recently reconnected with them again. We've done shows with them.
Nice.
And there's we play with Kicks and
yeah, sure.
There's just so many great bands.
Who's like the biggest hero that you met? A hero of yours that you ended up meeting? Can you think of anybody? What is that?
What is that? Is that you?
Nope, I don't know what that is. Let's ignore it.
It's a nice sound. I hear it.
Oh, it's the door. Never mind.
The door. Okay.
Okay.
I can't ignore it. It's in my brain.
Yeah. Someone robbing the place. No big deal.
Yeah. Actually, what I think what it is you asked me someone that really made an impact on my life was just recently. I've had several. Let me just say, meeting Gene Krupa was huge for me.
Yeah.
Meeting Ozzy was huge.
That's got to be huge.
Yeah. But one of what just happened recently this year is I actually got to meet Al Di Meola, my guitar hero.
That's cool.
And sit down with him after his show Infinity. I actually was upstairs in the dressing room sitting on a couch with him, and he was trying out a guitar right there. So that's something that was
that's cool.
Yeah, that blew my mind actually, because you think at my age, I'm going to be 65 in January.
Oh wow!
And you think at my age that I don't get starstruck, but when you meet,
we're just kids. We're still kids.
Yeah, we're still kids, and when you meet someone that you've had so much respect for and that you idolize for so many years of your life, and you're actually that close. I mean, when you see him, you could go see him.
Sure.
Like I've seen Richie Blackmore many times. He's one of my huge idols, but I never actually met Richie yet. And then Johnny Winter I saw a bunch of times, and I didn't get to meet Johnny. But to get to sit with Al Di Meola, because he was the biggest.
Yeah, right.
He was the biggest influence, especially because of my picking hand.
Oh, okay.
I style, that's where I learned all my, fast picking techniques and everything from.
Wow. You discovered that early on?
I discovered, it was, like I said, it was the late 70s. I actually, I remember driving through all up and down Vermont, in New Hampshire, and I had a big cassette player in the car, and I would go from listening to Al Di Meola or Chick Corea to popping in Back in Black or or Michael Schenker or anything that was Van Halen 2 and Van Halen 1. Those are that's another one. I met Van Halen a couple times. That was kind of mind blowing to actually be right there.
That would be mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, it's like, that's wow, I'm standing here with a real legend, it's kind of like,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nutty. Yeah. I was a big Van Halen fan.
Yeah. We played when I was with Kramer. That was another thing that,
right.
We played NAMM shows together,
Sure.
and I played, shows with Van Halen, with Eddie,
That's
it was kind of like, this is not right.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's not supposed to be happening.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. All right. Questions.
Yeah.
Have you seen the show with any regularity? This show.
This show?
Yeah. Do you know the semi wrapping up weird questions?
No, I've never seen the show. I'm embarrassed to say I just and I don't mean that in any disrespect. I just didn't know about it.
Yeah. Not everybody knows about it. That's fine. Good. Then you don't know what's coming. Okay.
Yeah. You're not going to ask me to do anything weird, are you?
No. Yeah. Eat this eel. No.
You're not about to get weird.
No. No. Just like things. All right. Are you a consistent practicer of your instrument?
Absolutely.
Oh, hey.
Nonstop.
Wow. There you go.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah. To this day.
That's cool. That's cool. So you set goals and you meet them.
Yeah. I mean, I play. I try. I very rarely go a day without playing guitar. Matter of fact, I don't go a day unless I'm traveling.
Yeah, right.
And even if I'm traveling, when I get to the hotel, I will pull the guitar out and play a little bit before.
Wow.
But
do you feel like you need to, or you just love it?
No, I need to. I'm conditioned kind of strange. I have I'm not one of these guitar players. You remember Bert Teague, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So Bert was one of these guys that could put the guitar on a stand, walk around, talk to everybody, and then go up and play like a monster. He would just pick it up, and it would be all ready to go. I'm one of these guys that plays guitar in my hotel room all day.
Wow.
I play guitar in the dressing room all time, right up to showtime.
Wow.
And then sometimes you'll find this kind of funny. This shows, like I said, obsession, mentalness, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
If I feel I didn't play good that night, I will go back to my hotel room and practice and try to figure out why I didn't play good.
Hey, man.
What did I do? What is not connecting here? What went wrong? And that's
cool.
Yeah, I mean, am I a bit extreme? I yes, definitely, but still, it's one of these things that I take my guitar playing so serious. Always have. It's always been, I built my reputation up by that. By just
So people expect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want, no matter where I played, even if I had an every Thursday night gig, at a club for years, and I knew there was maybe going to be 10, 20, 30 people at the max that might show up. You never know. It was one of those places. We were playing over right by the bar.
Yeah.
But I would practice all day for that gig.
Wow.
Just because
that's cool.
I didn't want to go in. I didn't want to just take it not serious.
Sounds good to me.
It's one of those things. You're ever playing and somebody, you never know who might walk in.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
just don't know. So weirdest situations have happened like that. Oh, I happen to walk in and see this guitar player playing.
And he was killing it.
I stopped there for a drink.
So you know that anytime anyone sees you, you're going to be killing it.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm on my game as much as possible.
That's great.
Even back now, I haven't had a drink in years, many years. But even back in my drinking days, I still practiced a lot, and I took my guitar very serious even back then.
Yeah,
and it was one of those things.
That's cool.
Yeah,
you got to do something in this world.
Now I'm addicted to Coke Zero, which is not a good thing.
Oh really? Oh boy,
that's okay.
Oh boy. What's the difference between Coke Zero and Diet Coke? You ever figure it
out? Well, they both have no calories, but believe it or not, to me, Coke Zero, they made it so it tastes like real Coke.
Oh, really?
But with no calories.
I never tried it.
Oh,
I never did the A/B test.
I love Coke Zero.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
I'll have to get into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I guess sometimes musicians, I get this way too. I mean, I'm not so much a perfectionist I'm a kind of throw the pieces in the air kind of player. But if I have a gig and I don't feel like I played as well as I expect myself to, it bothers me until I get back on the stage.
I beat myself
and
up.
sometimes I don't have a gig for a month.
Yeah,
and I'll be depressed because
I will. I beat myself up over it.
Yeah, me too.
I really do. And even like, I'll give you an example. Last night, I think it was, or the night before, I even just practicing in my house. Now I haven't played out for a little bit. I'm been on some, there's been a break in between everything, so I haven't really stood up and played with a band. But I still have I have my own recording studio now that I got a year ago. So I've written so many songs and recording. So that's what I do a lot of. But what I was, just in my normal practicing, my hands just didn't feel right. And it bothers me. Like it takes me so much to put that guitar down and go to bed if I don't feel that I'm playing good. Like if I don't end on a good note, if I don't feel like I'm like doing good.
Yep.
I just can't even. It's hard for me to put the guitar down and say, "Oh, I'll get back to it tomorrow."
Yeah, I know the feeling.
It bothers me.
Well, I mean, it's working.
Yeah, I mean,
you set high standards for yourself. That's
good. But I mean, you also get to the point where you're obsessing and
so what?
You're making yourself crazy for when I tell people, I've had many situations where I get done playing. I tell. Oh my God! I had such a bad night playing. I played terrible tonight, and they look at me like they say, Jimmy, your worst night is my best night. It's like they say, but it's
they don't understand.
They don't understand how you feel inside because you're used to playing a certain way.
Do you feel like have you ever played a perfect gig? Probably not, or else you wouldn't be.
I haven't played a perfect gig, but I have done shows where. But this is the funny thing. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I have done shows where I've played, and I thought that I played great. Me personally, I said, my hands feel good. This was a good night.
And that's a night when someone goes, "You suck."
No. Well, they'll say no, but they'll say then nothing will be said. But a night that I'm struggling, where I'm personally struggling, people will come up to me afterwards and go, "Oh my God, you played so good tonight." It's like
so weird.
It's like I don't get this.
Yeah.
It's like. So we just don't know what we ourselves feel as musicians isn't what and honestly, when you look at things with guitar, as far as guitar playing goes, I'll tell you this right now. As much as I practice, as much as I write, I'm not into instrumentals. Like all those records that there's these guitars that are doing these long songs, these long instrumental pieces. I'm not into them whatsoever.
So you've always been like a song guy?
I'm a song guy. I'm all about lyrics and choruses.
Cool.
And my idea of a song should be about the song, and the guitar solo should be no more than 30 seconds, 30, 40 seconds at the most, and then you're out and it's back to the hook.
Right. So you're not like an epic.
I mean, if you can't make a statement within the 30, 40 seconds of what you're trying to say in a song,
I don't care.
Then you could play all day long in a thing, and it won't make a difference. You should be able to say something within that period.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. Nice,
man.
Favorite some desert island albums that you would take with you and listen to only.
How many?
I don't know. 5.
5. Yeah. I get asked this question a lot.
Oh, okay.
Well.
That'll give us an idea of.
Well, I always, the first 2 that I always say are Deep Purple, Machine Head, Deep Purple, Made in Japan.
Wow. Okay.
Those 2. And then I get lost a little bit. Van Halen 1 was huge.
Yep.
I love Al Di Meo's Elegant Gypsy record. That's 4, but I've got so many more.
Just whatever.
Yeah. Back in Black is a huge one for me.
Sure.
So, I mean, if we just say 5, I would say as long as I have my AC/DC and things like that, I'm good. But, like I come from, I've been, I'm old. So I grew up listening to a lot of things. Like I was a huge Grand Funk fan
Oh, cool.
when Grand Funk came out.
Yeah.
And I thought Don Brewer was an incredible drummer, vocalist, and that band really slammed it as a trio.
Yep.
So I used to love the Grand Funk double live album before they had the keyboard player in it.
Okay. I'll have to go back.
Yeah, and then and I was a huge fan of Humble Pie.
Yeah.
Rockin' the Fillmore album.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
And and one other album that I absolutely was my go-to album all the time that I forgot to say, I can't believe I left this out, was the Johnny Winter and album. It was a live album that Johnny Winter did with Rick Derringer, and it still to this day has some of the best guitar playing. I think he was at the Fillmore East live. It was
I'll have to check it out.
Oh my God! Wait till you hear him play the "It's My Own Fault," the blues number. The playing in it is just. It opens up with "Good Morning, Little Schoolgirl." They got a great version of "Jumpin' Jack Flash" on there. And Rick Derringer played his little hiney off, man. He was a great guitarist back then too.
Killer.
Yeah.
Desert island food.
I would have to have salads. I'm a salad freak, but grilled chicken. I'm one of those guys. Either grilled chicken or grilled steak. Believe it or not, I'm full Italian. I don't eat seafood.
Oh wow!
Yeah, for some reason I can't get myself to eat any seafood at all.
Really?
Yeah, nothing. And
not tuna, nothing.
People, I'll eat tuna, but I'm one of these guys that would have to doctor it totally. Like I could eat a Subway tuna grinder because it's not, but because I would doctor it with everything.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm a meat and pasta person. But I don't eat a lot of that stuff anymore. I've been trying to stay, I was doing really good staying away from sweet things too, but lately like if I have something sweet, I have to break just a little piece of it just to indulge a little bit. I'll take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'll never sit, and I don't sit and eat a whole piece of cake or a whole piece, so.
I struggle.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I'll take a cookie and break it into like 3 pieces and then have 1 piece. And then, so, I try really hard, but realistically, I shouldn't be eating any of that stuff. But here's the thing: I walk 8 miles in the morning. I usually get up about 3. I get up about 3:30 a.m. every morning and start walking. Usually by 4:30, I'm out the door doing my 8 miles.
Wow.
And then in the afternoon, I'll do another 4 to 6 miles. So, like today before I came, I did 12 miles today.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I do that every day.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, 8 miles is the least I'll do. Like if I can't, if it's crazy, but even like if it's a bad day outside, I have a treadmill, so I'll at least do 8 miles in the house.
Hey, that's cool. How long you been doing that?
Quite a while.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, I enjoy walking. It gives me time to think. It's
I walk a lot too, but not that much.
I have, it's like a lot of people say, geez, it's dark out still. It's like I live in a good neighborhood, number one, but it's it doesn't mean anything. There's all kinds of things that happen in good neighborhoods, but my thing is I really like the dark. It's peaceful and.
Sure. Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, it's good just to walk and I look at the stars. The mornings are always really beautiful. The stars are still out like a lot of times, especially when especially now when it's kind of a little bit of crispness in the air. The sky is it's great.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, man.
I like that. I used to be the paper boy. It was so nice, so quiet.
I talk to the guy delivering papers all the time.
Yeah.
They drive around and. He's a great guy. He always passes me, honks his horn. People must get mad. He's honking his horn 4:30 in the morning. Sees me all the time.
Jimi Bell's out.
Yeah, Jimi Bell's out walking. Hey, buddy,
Killer.
So funny.
Hey, we could go. I don't want to run out. How close are we? Because we're over an hour. I just want to make sure. All right, yeah, we should wrap it because I don't want to run out in the middle of any of this. So you know what?
You could always have me back.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
This was very close to my house.
All right, you know what? You come back for part 2. I'll hit you up.
Yeah,
because there's other things we got to know. I don't want to go too long. And then,
do you got one more question you want to ask before we go?
Most mind-blowing live show that you saw that changed your life, quickly.
My mind-blowing show that changed my life.
Yeah.
As a kid, I saw it was Deep Purple in New Haven Coliseum, 1973.
That'll do it.
On the Machine Head tour. That was it.
That was it.
That was before Ian Gillan left the band. That did it to me.
That's
right
it.
There. That was it.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the dry ice. They used dry ice back then.
Yeah, sure.
And it stayed at the bottom of the legs. Not like,
Yeah.
It lingered down that way as opposed to going up in the air.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was very neat.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, it was a pleasure.
Yeah,
we got to do this again.
Yeah, call me back. I want to talk about Alvin Lee and all that stuff. Yeah.
All right. You know what? Yeah, we'll do it again for sure.
All right.
Yeah, because now that we got the backstory, then we'll get into it.
Yeah. I have a bunch of questions.
Yeah. Let me chop a few. Let me get some more people in. Then when you come back, when it comes back around, let me know when you're around.
You call me anytime.
Cool. Beautiful. Jimi Bell. There he is.
John, thank you so much, my friend.
Hey, man. There we go. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Hey.
On the John Peckman podcast.
Yeah. Well, you already said it. It's this beautiful downtown. Where are we? Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one set of lights, start looking left, like, and subscribe, please. Thank you very much. Jimi Bell was here, finally.
And I haven't left the room yet, or the building.
Yeah. Well,
I'm about to.
He's about to.
Thank
Jimi Bell's about to leave the building. Thanks, kids. That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.